All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We are a few minutes late. I apologize. It's been a very fun-filled, eventful 3 hours locked in that other room. We'll go ahead and get started. In accordance with Governing Board Policy BDDH, public participation in board meetings, please stand for a moment of silence. Then we'll have you stay standing. We'll do the pledge after that. Okay, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mrs. Arlinda Mann, West Area Assistant Superintendent.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please remain standing for the national anthem, which will be observed via the video. All right, we have one more super fun, exciting video for you to watch that'll show you how we handle this meeting.
Welcome to the Mesa Public Schools Governing Board meeting. We appreciate your interest in the district. The 5 elected governing board members volunteer countless hours and serve without compensation. The president and the clerk of the board are elected in January. Under state law, the governing board may only discuss and vote on matters that are on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Agendas are posted a minimum of 24 hours in advance on the Mesa Public Schools website and in the Curriculum Services Center. Copies of tonight's agenda are located in the lobby. Members of the public may speak to the agenda items. If you wish to comment on any agenda item, please fill out a request to address the board form. These forms are also located in the lobby. Before the item is discussed, please submit the completed form to the assistant to the governing board. Members of the public will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. Once recognized by the governing board president, please state your name. We ask that all speakers show respect and courtesy to others. During the second regular meeting of each month, the agenda will include a call to the public, which is an opportunity to speak to the governing board about a school district matter that's not on the agenda. Please submit a request to address the board form to participate in the call to the public. If you want the governing board to consider adding an item to a future agenda, You may submit your request in writing to the board at least 5 working days before that meeting. The superintendent or the governing board president will consider your request. Thank you for your attendance and involvement in tonight's meeting.
Riveting. Before we start, I want to recognize Senator Sean Bowie. He's here in the audience. Appreciate your support. With that, we'll move on. We've got a few just housekeeping items that we've got to take care of, and then we'll get into some of the fun stuff that I know most of you are here for. Can I get a motion to approve the the minutes for the regular meeting held on February 27th, 2018?
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 27th, 2018.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting held on March 6th, 2018. Can I get a motion or a motion?
I move we approve the minutes of the special meeting held March 6th, 2018.
All right, all approved?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm all in favor. Aye, and now we'll move on to item 7, the personnel requests.
Mr. President.
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. President, members of the board, we're asking your approval this evening of the certificated and classified personnel requests, including the addendum, with the exception of appointment number 1 on the administrative personnel sheet on the board addendum.
All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
And that works. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And now we'll move on to the consent agenda items. All items listed will be considered.
Did you have, Dr. Count, did you have some people you wanted to recognize?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if I could, thank
I
you.
almost skipped to the fun
The
part.
exciting part. Mr. President, members of the board, with your action this evening, you have appointed 3 new administrators in our system, and I'd like to have them come forward here in the order that I have. First is Andrea Erickson. Andrea, would you like to come up? Now, Andrea is a familiar face with Mesa Public Schools. She is currently interim principal at Pomeroy Elementary School. She's an experienced principal in Mesa and Scottsdale who started her career in Mesa Public Schools as a teacher, and with the exception of just a couple of years, has spent her entire career with Mesa Public Schools. She earned her bachelor's degree from the University of Minnesota and her master's degree from the University of Phoenix. We are pleased to introduce and welcome back Andrea as the next principal of Pomeroy Elementary School. Congratulations, Andrea. So, Andrea, if you'd like to step up to the mic, do you have any family here? And if not,
I do.
okay, good. Introduce your family in a couple of comments.
The first time I did this, 14 years ago, my kids were at lacrosse and their dad was with them. Now they're here with me. My rock of the world, Ken Erickson, my husband of 27 years, is right in the back. My youngest son, Tate, is graduating from ASU at the end of of May. I'm super proud of him. My oldest son, Theo's in graduate school, and his girlfriend of 7 years, Kayla, is right there, and she's like the daughter I never had, so come on, Theo, I'm waiting.
No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure.
I just want to say to my Pomeroy staff, you guys have just made me feel like I already had a family before I stepped in. You are amazing. You are my heart. Thanks for welcoming me with open arms. I can't tell you how honored I am to get to serve your community and to serve you. I look forward to as many years as you'll have me doing that. I want to thank Mike, Sean, Pete, Arlinda. You guys have been with me forever. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity as well. So thanks, guys.
Welcome back. Andrea Erickson, principal of Pomeroy Elementary School. Let's have Eileen Berenbach come forward. There she is. Eileen is our current interim director of special education. She served her bachelor's degree from the University of Connecticut and later earned 2 master's degrees from Montclair University and Keene University. She joined Mesa Public Schools earlier this year as an SLD teacher with 21 years of teaching experience and 5 years of administrative experience. We are fortunate to continue to benefit from Eileen's experience and expertise in the world of special education as one of the new directors of special education, Eileen Berenbach. Congratulations. Eileen, any family to introduce or comments you'd like to share?
Well, my 2 kiddos are both away at college, so they're here with me in spirit. Hopefully they're there studying hard. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to Dr. Cawthorn for being here this evening. Thank you to Dr. Holmes and all of the other individuals that were involved in my interview process. I thank you to Dr. Cowan and, of course, to the governing board for offering me this position. I look forward to continuing to serve the students of Mesa Public Schools in this new capacity. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Eileen Berenbach, Director of Special Education. And last but not least, Christine Gutierrez. Christine, if you'd like to come forward. Christine is currently the Dean of Students at Emerson Elementary and Webster Elementary Schools. Those are principals cheering for her back there. She began her career in the Alhambra School District, where she taught elementary and middle schools prior to joining Mesa Public Schools as a content specialist. She earned her bachelor's degree from Arizona State University, her master's degree from, clap, 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 her master's degree from Northern Arizona University. All right. And is in the process of completing a second master's degree program at Western Governors University. Congratulations to Christine, our new principal at Roosevelt Elementary School. Congratulations.
That's still, I'm not ready to hear the principal. Like, I'm so excited, but it's still, wow. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Ready or not, it's coming.
I know. I know yesterday when I saw it on the addendum, I was like, oh, it's real. It's real. And Stacy's like, you're going to be okay. So I want to thank my my husband, Andy, my daughter, Summer, my son, Jack, my sister's here, my niece, and my best friend. She became my best friend in kindergarten. We taught kindergarten together. She's here. And then all of my Emerson and Webster family. You guys are family, and this is kind of bittersweet to me because I love both schools so much, and I've learned so much from you guys, and I'm looking forward to serve the community of Roosevelt. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Christine Gutierrez, principal at Roosevelt Elementary School. And that concludes our introductions, Mr. President, members of the board.
Okay, I caught my breath. I apologize. We went from like 3 what were supposed to be semi-short executive session topics to filling up the entire 3 hours, and I was like run and gun type deal. We were go, and I'm trying to get out of that mindset. So take a breath, and we're going to move on to consent agenda. I'll try to get through that. All items will be listed, or all items listed will be considered as a group and will be approved with one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and be considered as a separate item. Are there any requests from the board members? All right, can I get a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion that the consent agenda items be received and adopted.
They were all stumbling. All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. Now we're on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us at tonight's governing board meeting. It feels like it's been a long time since we gathered from our last televised governing board meeting. I hope everyone is well rested from spring break, and for those of you that are educators probably think, gee, that was a long time ago. Well, you know, you'll look back with fondness in mid-April as you push toward the end of May, because it's a long time yet to go. And we hope you did have a break, though. I say it all the time, but this is the time of year when I most enjoy watching our students. As their hard work starts to come together, they are eager to demonstrate their progress and showcase their skills. Before you have the opportunity to meet a few of our outstanding students later tonight, I'll share some exciting news from across the district. Red Mountain High School is one of 100 schools nationwide and one of only 2 Arizona schools selected by the College Board to implement its new pre-advanced placement program in the 2018-19 school year. Pre-AP is an open access, systemic approach to building academic skills that can be applied within any setting. It gives all students the opportunity to acquire the knowledge and tools to be successful in advanced placement and other college-level coursework. Traditionally, schools focus on locating AP students and providing them with strengthened academic options. Pre-AP shifts the focus from determining who would individually benefit from advanced placement to strengthening instruction for all students. Red Mountain High School Principal Jared Ryan told me, Red Mountain High School is extremely excited about this opportunity to provide students this high level of instruction so they may experience greater academic confidence and success. Congratulations, Red Mountain High School. Mesa Public Schools has a stellar reputation for providing premier music programming and opportunities to excel in the arts. Mountain View High School will continue to build on our rich legacy of excellence by adding the Music Conservatory program. Beginning with the class of 2022, now that's really not that long away, 2022, students may apply for this advanced program of music studies, which leads to a seal of musical excellence on their diplomas. Scott Bergner, music education specialist, says this program is a fantastic opportunity for students with musical career aspirations to take advanced coursework. The seal of musical excellence is the first of its kind in Arizona, and Greg Milbrandt, principal at Mountain View High School, who I believe is sitting in the audience. Where are you, Greg? He's over there, standing in the audience, is very excited to offer this opportunity to our outstanding young musicians and artists. Once again, Mesa Public Schools was well represented at the Academic Decathlon State Championship competition. Mountain View, Red Mountain, Skyline, and Westwood High Schools all finished in the top 10. Student scholars competed in a variety of academic disciplines, including art, economics, language, literature, mathematics, and social studies. This year's theme was Africa. The 10-event scholastic competition requires participation from students of all academic levels. Teams consist of 9 members who were divided into 3 divisions based on grade point average: the honors group, the scholastic group, and the varsity group. Our decathletes trained hard, improved their study skills, discovered new strengths and passions, and connected with fellow learners. Congratulations to our students and coaches who represent our program and continue to add to the tradition of excellence in Mesa Public Schools. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, school buses travel more than 4 billion miles each year, providing the safest transportation to and from school for more than 25 million American children. In Mesa Public Schools alone, we average 36,100 miles per day for a total of more than 7.2 million miles per year, which is equal to over 15 round trips between the Earth and the Moon. That's a lot of miles here in Mesa. Our buses have certainly evolved through the years. Yes, that really is one of our old buses. Notice this bus had its very unique air conditioning system.
We still use that for field trips on occasion, right?
Yeah, that's the Spirit bus, right? Can you imagine the shock absorbers on that baby going across their dirt roads? Today, our transportation department paves the way in cutting-edge green technology with propane-powered buses. These vehicles save money and reduce emissions to better serve our community and our more than 29,000 student riders each day. As innovative leaders, the District Transportation Department was invited to display one of our propane-powered Bluebirds, that's the company that builds the buses, at the 2018 Arizona Clean Cities biannual event at the state capitol. You may remember in fiscal year 2014, we purchased 61 propane buses with $7.5 million in bond funds. Today, there are 107 propane buses in our fleet. The latest issue of Achieve magazine looks like this, should have arrived in your mailbox if you reside in the boundaries of Mesa Public Schools. This issue features career and technical education, along with articles that highlight outstanding educators, programming and departments, including our operations department. As I read through this issue, I reflected on education in the 21st century and our exemplary CTE programs. Under the direction of Marlo Loria, we contribute to the next generation of skilled workers. I know you will enjoy learning about our talented students in this issue. Achieve is delivered to home mailboxes across our district. Board members, you have a copy at your seats for you this evening. Please contact the Communications and Marketing Department for additional copies or read the electronic version on our district website. Mr. President and board members, this concludes the superintendent's report to the board, and I invite you to join me in front of the dais for this evening's recognitions. As our governing board comes down, the next item on our spotlight recognitions. This program gives our community a more comprehensive look at our schools, programs, departments, and allows you to recognize and validate the work of some incredible individuals. This evening's spotlight recognitions include Mountain View High School, Carson Junior High School, and Wilson Elementary School. Will Greg Milbrandt, the proud principal of Mountain View High School, please join me at the podium while we watch a video about your school, Greg?
What I really like about Mountain View is that I feel part of the community and that I'm not afraid to get involved with the extracurricular activities here.
I really like coming to Mountain View because the teachers and the staff want the best for you on campus.
I like coming to Mountain View because it prepares you a lot mentally and physically through sports and through schooling.
Welcome to the Campus of Champions. I'm Greg Milbrandt, proud principal of Mountain View High School. We are the Toros. Mountain View is all about success and the achievement of our students on a daily basis. We have incredible programs here at Mountain View, like CTE, music, athletics, AP, and our new music conservatory.
The conservatory enhances what the students already do. They're not only involved in one music class, but many of them are involved in 2 or 3 music classes during the day.
Our students love coming to school every day because of the people, the staff, the faculty that we have that work here. They're amazing. They truly care about our students. Our faculty does an incredible job of challenging our students to excel every day in the classroom. We are one of the top schools in the country as named by U.S. News & World Report and the niche ranking system. We are also an A+ school of excellence as named by the Arizona Educational Foundation. We have AVID.
I like AVID just because it gives students the chance to be more successful at school and it carries over into college.
Mountain View partners with the community in many great ways. One of those ways is through the Running with the Bulls, which was a spectacular event here at Mountain View. We have Link crew members that help our freshmen feel comfortable and accepted here on our campus. We have Mentoros who tutor other students and by doing so earn community service hours. We are working hard to prepare all of our students for success, not only to get into college, but to have success once they get there and beyond.
I am a champion.
I'm a champion.
I am a champion.
I'm a champion.
I am a champion.
We are the Campus of Champions!
Excellent, excellent. Congratulations to Mountain View. Principal Milbrandt, will you introduce your honorees for us?
Thank you, Dr. Cowan, and thank you for all wearing Toro red tonight. Mountain View High School is the campus of champions where we focus on strong academics, athletics, and activities. Our honor code, which promotes trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, and honesty, guides our campus culture. Tonight, I'd like to shine the spotlight on a few special Toros. Peter Stratford, one of our senior students, please join me at the podium. Peter is known on campus as a hardworking and caring person. He has high standards for himself and encourages his peers to never settle for less than their best. His integrity and leadership skills are admired by all, and Peter always looks for ways to be inclusive. Honest and trustworthy, he keeps to his word. His enthusiasm, kindness, and overall sense of goodwill make him stand out. I am honored to recognize you, Peter, as our outstanding student. Corey Anderson, one of our social studies teachers, please come forward. In his second year at our school, Corey already has an outstanding track record as a teacher, coach, and leader. He acts in the best interest of students in the classroom and beyond, including helping students make new friends and even visiting a student's grandparent while in the hospital. Every month, Corey has been nominated for our Above and Beyond Award, which he won his first year. I'm honored to recognize you, Corey, as our educator who makes a difference. Our receptionist, Cindy Huffman, please come forward. Cindy has a constant smile on her face and greets every person who walks through our door. Students and staff and parents appreciate her because she makes them feel welcome and heard. Cindy always steps in to help when needed, even recently filling in for a colleague who was out for 3 weeks. She's knowledgeable, thoughtful, organized, creative, and most of all, kind. I am honored to recognize you, Cindy, as our customer service champion. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to recognize our tremendous school community, the campus of champions, Mountain View High School.
Thank you, Mr. Milbrand, and congratulations to our Mountain View Toros, the campus of champions. Our next spotlight shines on Carson Junior High School. Yeah. Dr. Tony Elmer, principal of Carson, come join me up here at the podium while we watch a video about your school.
Welcome to Carson, home of the Cougars.
Hi, I'm Tony Elmer, principal at Carson Junior High School. Carson is a very unique and diverse campus. Being the oldest junior high school within Mesa Public Schools, Carson is really a special place to be. We've had generations of families who have walked through our hallways, which brings a certain amount of pride to our campus. We have some of the hardest working staff members who really care about each and every student here at Carson. Our teachers create opportunities for students to be successful no matter where their educational needs are at. It's part of our mission here at Carson to teach students to take ownership of their learning. We get to know every student by name, by their academic status, and their personal story. Carson's been named an Arizona Civics Engagement School of Distinction. We are the only junior high school to be involved in participatory budgeting. This is where students are able to come up with 3 ideas for campus improvements and then vote on them to select which idea would be chosen. It gives students a voice in what happens at their school and helps them learn about the democratic process. Because of the hard work that our students and teachers do on a daily basis, Carson has been named an Avid School-Wide Site of Distinction, which means that we are recognized as the top 1% of Avid schools across the nation. We offer many different electives for students to choose from, ranging from performing arts to foods. The Carson Robotics team is one of the coolest clubs we have on campus. We are a proud community of learners here at Carson.
Carson Junior High School. Dr. Elmer, introduce us to your honorees.
Greg, I hate to tell you, but our school colors are red also. Hey, Carson Junior High School has served our tight-knit community for almost 60 years now. We're committed to stellar academic learning and understanding each of our students as unique individuals. Tonight, I'd like to recognize a few special Cougars. So, Huda Muhammad, would you please come join me at the podium? Here's what some folks at Carson have to say about Huda. Huda is positive, responsible, motivated, and hardworking. She is inquisitive and committed to improving her understanding of concepts and big ideas. She's a leader among her peers and respected by her classmates, who even consider her to be the perfect presidential candidate. Huda is true to herself and stands up for what she believes is right. She's going to do great things in life. I'm honored to recognize you, Huda, as our outstanding student. Now, this person doesn't know why he's here, but Brian Maston, would you please join me up here? We were able to keep a surprise. So Brian is our math department chair at Carson Junior High School. Teaching is a second career for Brian, but it is truly what he's meant to do. He has a great rapport with students and pushes them to become better, not just as math students, but as citizens. This includes helping them improve their critical thinking skills. As a campus leader and department chair, Brian consistently looks for ways to help students and teachers. He's a positive role model for all of us. I'm honored to recognize you, Brian, as our educator who makes a difference. Next, I'd like to invite our registrar, Stephanie Garcia, to come on up. Stephanie also didn't know. Stephanie goes above and beyond. No matter how busy she is, she's always willing to lend a hand. She also tutors students and mentors them to make good choices. A student once said, "Stephanie is the nicest person they know, and they can tell she really cares about them." She's often the first contact families have with our school, and she makes everyone feel welcome. I'm honored to recognize you, Stephanie, as our customer service champion. Thank you, Dr. Cowan, Superintendency and Governing Board, for giving us the opportunity to recognize our incredible community we have at Carson Junior High.
That's right, that's the Carson Cougars. Our last spotlight this evening shines on Wilson Elementary School. Master Principal Shelley Heath at Wilson Elementary School, please join me at the podium while we watch a brief video about your school.
Hello and welcome to Wilson Elementary, home of the Wildcats. I'm Shelley Heath, the extremely proud principal. Here at Wilson, we believe that pride and achievement win success. Our overall focus is strong academic curriculum, partnerships with parents, and helping to meet all the needs of our individual awesome kiddos. Speaking of awesome kiddos, here's a glimpse from their perspective of what happens every day at Wilson. We hope you enjoy.
At Wilson Elementary, we aim quite high. We're proud of our school and we'll tell you why.
Preparing for the future and increasing our cognition, reaching for the stars is everybody's mission. In Avid School, we are proud to say, college bound starts here each day. The 4 keys we follow are important to us. Grit, responsibility, and respect are all a must. The 4th key is kindness, you'll see each day. Everywhere on campus, that's just our way.
Increasing our vocabulary and using context clues, the word wizards at Wilson are always in the news. Math facts are the key to many skills in math. Top cats are the masters and show us all the path. They hold a STEAM night for everyone at school to explore so much and learn new tools.
We can write in many formats and engage the reader most. My pieces will be read one day by readers coast to coast. You gotta love our teachers so smart and aware that we all learn a different way. They always prove to care. If reading intervention will help us the most, we've got certified teachers whose success we all can boast.
The clubs at Wilson meet diverse needs: running club, jump rope, chess, piano, hip hop, math club, tutoring, technology, they all pop. WEN is our news at school. It's always entertaining and informative to boot.
The principal's on a roll is the list you make. Streaming those A's is what it takes.
At Wilson School, we all agree, Mrs. Theo Wilson is the cat to be. We love and appreciate her heart so very dear. Do your best every day, her message is quite clear.
We're the Wilson Wildcats, so hear us roar. We are ready for the world as we walk on out the door.
We hope you enjoyed our virtual tour of our amazing campus and what helps our kids to reach their goals and strive for excellence.
Wilson Elementary School. Principal Heath, share a little bit about some special people that make this school so incredible.
I'd love to. Thank you, Dr. Cowan. At Wilson Elementary, we succeed through rigorous academic expectations, parent partnerships, and growing student citizenship. Tonight, I'd like to recognize some incredible Wilson Wildcats. Tucker Alicio, 6th grade student, please join me at the podium. Tucker is always excited to learn something new and challenge himself. He excels academically and is gifted in the arts. Tucker is student council president and a member of our broadcasting team, where he delivers the morning announcements with passion and dedication. He's compassionate and kind. Anytime a peer needs help, he jumps right in with patience and humility. I'm honored to recognize you, Tucker, as our outstanding student. Bruce Scott, volunteer. Could you come join me up here, sir? Surprised you, huh? Yes. Bruce's motto is, I'm here to help kids and make your lives easier. And boy, does he ever. He works 3 hours every day helping our 3rd graders. Bruce has a keen sense of knowing when a student needs a smile or someone to talk to. He loves to listen to students read, and they love to read to him. He's always smiling and eager to help our students be the best they can be. I'm honored to recognize you, Bruce, as our volunteer extraordinaire. Rebecca Neal, physical education teacher, please join me at the podium. Rebecca makes PE fun, interactive, and challenging. Students love her because she's kind, cool, and caring. She knows them as individuals, celebrating what they bring to our community and helping them embrace their unique strengths. Recently, I overheard some 1st graders saying, Mrs. Neal is so fun. I can't wait until it's PE day again. Don't you wish every day was PE day? I'm honored to recognize you, Rebecca, as our educator who makes a difference. Julie Rexroth, Resource Center Specialist. Please come on up. Hey, pretty lady. Julie's always smiling and eager to face any challenge. She's empathetic, enthusiastic, and an excellent communicator. Julie is innovative, resourceful, and talented, using her skills to help, whether it's by solving a colleague's technology issue or finding a student the right book to match a lesson. She even revamped our Wildcat Express news to roaring success. I'm honored to recognize you, Julie, as our customer service champion. Thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to recognize some wonderful people at Wilson. Thank you, everyone.
So let's have one more round of applause for Wilson Elementary School. Thank you to our master educators and our top-notch employees. Your individual and collective efforts engage and inspire young learners every day. You give children the tools to be successful in life, which is evident in the outstanding students honored in this evening's presentation. We celebrate each of you. Our Spotlight recipients receive a certificate of appreciation, an Amazon gift card for personal use from the Mesa Public Schools Foundation. In addition, our volunteer extraordinaire receives a candy-filled tumbler, and outstanding students are recognized with an official portrait, which will be displayed in our governing board room right up against that wall. So that's where you're going to be, Peter, in a couple of days. We will take a brief 3-minute recess now before we get to our second period class. So let's move between classes promptly so we can continue on with our governing board meeting. Mr. President, members of the board, this concludes our recognitions of some incredible people that make Mesa Public Schools the great, great school system it is. Congratulations again to everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to Wilson Elementary, home of the Wildcats. I'm Shelley Heath, the extremely proud principal. Here at Wilson, we believe that pride and achievement win success. Our overall focus is strong academic curriculum, partnerships with parents, and helping to meet all the needs of our individual awesome kiddos. Speaking of awesome kiddos, here's a glimpse from their perspective of what happens every day at Wilson. We hope you enjoy.
At Wilson Elementary, we aim high. We're proud of our school and we'll tell you why.
Preparing for the future and increasing our cognition, reaching for the stars is everybody's mission. In Avid School, we are proud to say, college bound starts here each day. The 4 keys we follow are important to us. Grit, responsibility, and respect are all a must. The 4th key is kindness, you'll see each day. Everywhere on campus, that's just our way.
Increasing our vocabulary and using context clues, the word wizards at Wilson are always in the news. Math facts are the key to many skills in math. Top cats are the masters and show us all the path. They hold a STEAM night for everyone at school to explore so much and learn new tools.
We can write in many formats and engage the reader most. My pieces will be read one day by readers coast to coast. You gotta love our teachers, so smart and aware that we all learn a different way. They always prove to care. If reading intervention will help us the most, we've got certified teachers whose success we all can boast.
The clubs at Wilson meet diverse needs: running club, jump rope, chess, piano, hip hop, math club, tutoring, technology, they all pop. WEN is our news at school. It's always entertaining and informative to boot.
The principal's on a roll is the list you make. Streaming those A's is what it takes.
At Wilson School, we all agree, Mrs. Theo Wilson is the cat to be. We love and appreciate her heart so very dear. Do your best every day, her message is quite clear.
We're the Wilson Wildcats, so hear us roar. We are ready for the world as we walk on out the door.
We hope you enjoyed our virtual tour of our amazing campus and what helps our kids to reach their goals and strive for excellence.
Welcome to Carson, home of the Cougars.
Hi, I'm Tony Elmer, principal at Carson Junior High School. Carson is a very unique and diverse campus. Being the oldest junior high school within Mesa Public Schools, Carson is really a special place to be. We've had generations of families who have walked through our hallways, which brings a certain amount of pride to our campus. We have some of the hardest working staff members who really care about each and every student here at Carson. Our teachers create opportunities for students to be successful no matter where their educational needs are at. It's part of our mission here at Carson to teach students to take ownership of their learning. We get to know every student by name, by their academic status, and their personal story. Carson's been named an Arizona Civics Engagement School of Distinction. We are the only junior high school to be involved in participatory budgeting. This is where students are able to come up with 3 ideas for campus improvements and then vote on them to select which idea would be chosen. It gives students a voice in what happens at their school and helps them learn about the democratic process. Because of the hard work that our students and teachers do on a daily basis, Carson has been named an avid school-wide site.
Alice, I'm ready, so we got this.
All right, in 10 seconds, we're going to close the door and you'll get to listen to, not have to listen to, this awesome presentation.
5, 4. Lady's on a roll.
It might be of interest if you want to stay. We're going to be talking about the calendar. No? All right, let's move on to item 12, the presentation of the proposed 2019-2020 and 2020-2021 school calendars. That was a mouthful.
Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Lesser and Helen Hollins and several people have been working hard to seek input from the community and be able to present to you a recommendation. And Dr. Lesser will give you the backgrounds in regards to these calendar proposals. Dr. Lesser?
Excellent. President Smith, members of the board, thank you for some time this evening to talk with you about the calendar development process, the data that has been shared with us regarding choices for length of breaks and interest in different calendars for the coming school years. I'd like to first present information about the process, provide you an opportunity for questions and answers. You certainly, if you'd like to ask questions on different slides, you're welcome to do that as well. And then following that, I'd like to move into the first hearings for the calendars, knowing that no decision or vote will be made tonight, but when we come back at the next meeting, we will be looking for approval for student calendars. Now, I'd like to also recognize Robert Carlisle, who is a research analyst for the district, and Helen Hollins, who you know is our Executive Director of Communication and Technology. They have spent countless hours in developing, researching, looking at data, refining our process, conducting focus groups, and you know, those individuals really tell the usual tale about Mesa Public Schools, that if we're going to do something, we're going to look to be the best at it and get all of the appropriate data and feedback regarding whatever program that we're looking at. So Helen and Robert, thank you for your contributions. And Helen, don't go away, because there will probably be some questions that I will turn to you to help answer. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the responsibilities of approving a calendar. Every other year, the governing board is tasked with approving a calendar in a 2-year sequence following feedback from the community and 2 public hearings, as I've spoken briefly about already. There are requirements that statute dictate that need to be included in any calendar that you would approve. First of all, the student calendar must be a minimum of 180 days. And schools are to be closed on July 4th, Veterans Day, December 25th, Thanksgiving Day, and any recess during the Christmas holiday season is not to exceed 2 school weeks. And any other holidays that you decide to put in are optional. There are also some current district practices that I think you are familiar with that also dictate or govern or direct our calendar selection. We recognize additional holidays, including Labor Day, the day after Thanksgiving, New Year's Day, MLK Day, President's Day, what we call a spring holiday, and Memorial Day. We recognize a fall break at the end of the first quarter and a spring break at the end of the third quarter. We historically have chosen those to separate the quarters of the year in I think, nicely packaged 9-week increments and grading periods. We try to balance the number of days in the first and second semesters, so we don't teach 100 days in first semester and then 80 days in second semester. We end the first semester at the beginning of winter break, and that's always been a topic of conversation amongst the board and the leadership team. I know that other places in the world that first semester ends in January at times. We've just made the decision over the course of the years that first semester ends, we go on winter break, and then second semester begins. We really want to focus on increasing student success by maximizing the number of instructional days prior to state testing. What would that mean to all of us? We don't want to start so late in the year that you only get 140 days in before state tests are administered to students. And we want to coordinate with other educational organizations when possible about when our breaks are, whether it be ASU, surrounding communities like Gilbert or Scottsdale or Chandler. Previously, our calendar process, we picked 2 or maybe 3 calendar options, presented those to the community, and asked for their feedback on which one they preferred. We made a significant shift in that process when we began to develop our calendar feedback process for this year. Instead of just identifying 2 or 3 calendars, we set a survey program up where we locked in the 2-week winter break. So we had first semester, then the winter break, then second semester, and the survey allowed respondents to select the length of fall break, Thanksgiving break, and spring break. And although the process, and I'm sure all of you completed the calendar as well, that although it generated a preferred calendar, the most important part about the selections was feedback on what our constituents felt were the most favorable break lengths. And I've got some data that will help you understand the feedback. We distributed the survey that was accessible by staff, parents, and students in kindergarten through 10th grade, students in grades 7th through 10th, and community members, which could include parents of future school-age children, grandparents, and other community members. So we specifically sent it to emails of parents and staff members and students, and we also presented the link on individual web pages, so those that did not have email addresses or they were grandparents or community members, they could go to a school web page and fill out the survey as well. You might ask, why only 10th grade? Well, these calendars will be for students, and 11th and 12th graders will not be our students when these calendars go into effect. And we don't get feedback from kindergarten through 6th grade students, but we do from their parents. So, how does the survey work, and how did we gather the feedback? There are 4 different fall break options that we presented. No break, 2 days for break, 1 week, and 2 weeks. The historically favorable one, or the one that we traditionally have had, is the 1 week break. For Thanksgiving break, we mixed it up a little bit as well as far as choices. We have the traditional 2-day break, which is Thursday, Friday. We also included a 3-day break, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then a full week at Thanksgiving. And there really were only 2 choices as we saw fit for spring break, 1 week or 2 weeks. And with 15,378 surveys, the most popular break lengths that were generated from the surveys were a 1-week fall break, a 3-day Thanksgiving break, and a 1-week spring break. And there is background data that generates that result or that most popular break table. And here's a breakdown of some of the demographic groups. For employees, there were 5,240 employee surveys submitted. And the most popular break lengths for employees was 1 week, 3 days, 1 week. The prevailing overall break that I just showed you. For parents, there were 5,956 surveys. Their selection of most popular break lengths were 1 week, 2 days, and 1 week for fall, Thanksgiving, and spring. We then took a look at students. 2,382 students filled out a survey, and the course changed a little bit at that point. They wanted 1 week, 3 days, and 2 weeks, or the breaks were most popular. And I read some of the comments that were submitted, and I sense that they were student remarks, but they felt as if second semester, as Dr. Cowan calls it, the 90 days of May, they were looking for a little more reprieve from what that felt like second semester. And I think that was the outcome of the popular 2-week spring break. And then the last one was the other community. These were individuals who didn't fill it out via the email link that we sent them. They went to the website and clicked on the link, and we didn't have demographic data like we did if it went specifically to their email. And there were 800 surveys, and I found this to be 1,800 surveys, and I found it interesting that the results for those surveys prevailed for the breaks 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 weeks. Okay? So more data that surrounds the most popular breaks of 1 week for fall, 3 weeks for Thanksgiving, 1 week for spring. And so here's the fall break. This is all 15,378 surveys. You can see that 56% of the respondents selected 1 week for fall break, or that was their most, that's the one they wanted most. It was the most popular. And you might say, well, what about all the rest, and how do we accommodate all of those individuals as well? Well, no fall break was only 3%, so it was a rather low number. And part of my thoughts regarding the results, that if you were to eliminate no fall break or 2 days for fall break, where would those people probably choose a break? They probably wouldn't leapfrog to 2 weeks. That a 3 or a 1 week would probably be the most popular one for them if we didn't have no fall break or 2 days. And that might bring that number up to close to, what do we have, 72% of the respondents?
Dr. Lesser,
yes.
if you go back, the other piece to look at there is, if I'm calculating correctly, 84% want at least a 1 week break of the respondents.
That's correct. Yeah. You can look at the data on both ends to come to a conclusion about what that might mean. The Thanksgiving break, and this I think came from popular interest. As we've looked at different calendars over the years, is 2 days the right amount, or is it just a traditional selection that we've always made? And where does 3 days and 1 week appear? And in this particular case, 45% of the respondents would like to see a 3-day. It was the most popular break, but there is another big group of 2 days. Maybe the rationale there would be, well, the 3-day prevailed, it was the most popular, and if we then went back and said to that group, well, the 3-day is popular, do you want do the 2-day people want a 1 week or a 3-day break? You would probably see many of the respondents in the 2 days be okay with a 3-day break.
So that would mean we'd have to start probably a day earlier. We typically start, I believe, on a Wednesday. Isn't that true? So we would now be starting on a Tuesday, which would feel like a full week. Wednesday feels like a half week. Starting on Tuesday feels like a whole week. in August. So I think of that.
And how does that, how does that affect when our teachers have to start in that?
They,
So what, right now they start on? Is that on here? Okay, oh.
yes, when we get to the hearings, you will see it on the calendar, but the 1920 calendar is going to start on a Tuesday, and teachers then start 4 days earlier, which would be the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, right? And I can answer questions at that time as well. Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, you're good. That's fine. And the last one there is the spring break lengths. There's just 2 choices, and 55% of the respondents selected 1 week. So, you're welcome to ask questions whenever you would like. Any thoughts or questions that you have right now?
I'll jump in. I don't really have any questions, except maybe for some of the other board members. But I appreciate you doing this. This seemed, at least for us, easier than it was last time. Not that it was difficult last time. It just seemed more streamlined, and that's maybe because you took on more of the burden, which I appreciate.
You're welcome.
Or, yeah, I guess maybe the burden goes back there. But you lifted the burden from us. You sought good, solid feedback and approval, and I really like the options that you put forward. And thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, we really had fun doing this because we believe that the results were more reflective of feedback from the community. And I think giving them choices allowed our community to say we're interested in their feedback. And number 2, we get data back that maybe eliminates some choices in the future or might inspire other choices as we move down the road. More data probably presents more questions, but it also allows for better analysis of what our constituents would like.
And the first thing that kind of jumped out at me was the May scheduling, how with the 2019-2020 calendar, it gets last day happening in graduations before Memorial Day. I always see that time of year just being jam-packed, just the getting to graduation, getting the holidays, and that gets the children, well, young adults, graduated and then continue in that celebratory thing and not dividing.
Oh, and not coming back after. And I think that's a popular thought that our people have, that they, if we're going to graduate and then there's a holiday, we don't want to come back after the holiday.
Is that why Mesa Public Schools normally, we seem to like the idea of the Thursday graduation? And is it to avoid Memorial Day weekend? Is it?
There's actually, this goes back a long ways with input from the community, and it was 2 things. One was the impact on Memorial Day weekend, but the other was, at the time, and I don't know if research has been done since then, the likelihood of out-of-control graduation activities are more likely to occur on a weekend night than on a weeknight. Not that that prohibits them from occurring, but it decreases the likelihood of potential challenges, some of which could be life-threatening for some of our kids. So that's why we've moved to a, this is 40 years or more, to a Thursday rather than a Friday.
I would also share that some of the calendars, and you've heard me speak of this in study session, with the 4 choices for fall break, the 3 choices for Thanksgiving, the 2 choices for spring break, it actually generates 24 different combinations. And some of the calendars have end dates on Wednesday. Some of them have it on Thursday. We didn't allow any of them to have an end date on Tuesday because there's exams on Monday and Tuesday, and we thought that would be an unusual circumstance to try to get exam days done and graduation done by the end of the day Tuesday. So yeah, you would see that most of the combinations, if not all of them, either had a Wednesday graduation date or a Thursday graduation date. And if we selected 2 weeks For fall and spring, you would have seen those days be after Memorial Day, and you would have seen the start of school be in July.
Another factor that's not measured on this, but is important to many of our staff members, is the 2-week winter break, whenever possible, and it's not always possible depending on where the holidays fall, that they enjoy both a 2-week and 3-weekend break, rather than starting a winter break in the midweek and only getting 2 weekend breaks. It just gives them 2 little more extra days to relax and be with family. And that's been a big concern of our employee groups in past years. And that concern is not represented in either of these 2 calendars.
One thing that I've had conversation about is if we head down the path of 1 week for fall, 3 days for Thanksgiving, 2 at Christmas, 1 at spring break, that the extra day during Thanksgiving will be an unpaid day for less than, Alice, help me with this, less than 12-month employees.
That's correct. So
Okay.
that would include any of your office staff, some custodial staff, could even affect, it will affect some bus drivers.
So right now, we know that less than 12-month employees, they don't get paid during fall break. They don't get paid during Christmas break. They don't get paid during spring break. And if we add a 3rd day, they won't get paid. They will end up, instead of getting paid 8 days in that pay period, they will be paid 7 days in that pay period. And, I mean,
Just to correct you real quick, Pete, your part-time contract employees do get paid, we changed it, it's 2 days in October and 3 days, no days, 2 days in October, and then the days in 3 days in the spring break. So they do get that. They do not get the full week, but they do
Gotcha.
get that. So there's a break there, and if you have a contract, part-time classified contract, you do get paid for the 2-week break at Christmas. So
And
there's a
Dr.
break
Holmes is,
in October, and then there would be a break again in November for the 1 day, and then a break again. in
Thank you. Dr. Holmes, anything else to add regarding the October and spring break?
No, as you were speaking, it occurred to me, I thought there might be a discrepancy there, and I think
Okay.
Alice has got it correct. I'd want to check the calendars to be sure, but I really do believe Alice.
Thank you, Alice. So that will be, another added element to it.
When are the AZ merit tests, when do they begin? In April, correct? About, what, the 2nd, 3rd week of April, 4th week of April?
There's actually a larger window than that is open for the administration of the assessment, and then the school district selects within that window. We always try to move it in a reasonable way closer toward the end of that window, giving more time for our students to prepare for the academic requirements of that test. But the state actually sets that in the month, primarily in the month of April. Sometimes it bleeds a little bit into March, depending on what the window is that the state has set.
So I hear that the teachers are trying to push all of the academics up through that last week of April, whenever that occurs. And then after the testing, that month of May, I always wonder what's going on. Certainly not everyone is taking AZ merit, but there are some form of testing usually for almost every grade, isn't there?
There is quite a bit of testing that goes on. After AZ merit finishes, of course, there are end of semester tests, there are finals, there are projects, there are reports, there are presentations that are all intended to continue the students' education and learning experiences through the last day of school. So
Continued progress monitoring with reading and.
Yeah, I know. And then I see on 2020, August 4th, it starts. And at least they get a little bit further before Christmas on the 21st, whereas in 19, they are 23rd is when their winter break starts, which I remember this last year. Wasn't it like almost, wasn't it the 23rd as well?
It was.
Or 24th? It was really close to
The last
Christmas.
day of school is the 22nd.
Okay.
So here, the
So
last day of
Christmas
school
was
is
on
the
Monday.
20th. So it's,
says that,
No, well, that's the first day they don't come to school, but the last day of school is the 20th. This year, the last day of school was the 22nd. So this
Okay.
year, they were in class clear till the
I
22nd.
see. Okay,
Right.
yeah, so there's a nice break there.
It's
That
better,
was what I
yeah,
was-
it's better than it was before.
Yeah, okay.
On, on the 2021 calendar, I noticed for the first time since I've been on the board, you're proposing to end well over a week before Memorial Day. Is there some thought behind that versus pushing the start date back on the 2020 to August 11th? It would shove a week out of the first semester and into the second semester, but you'd end up then following tradition then of ending on the Thursday before Memorial Day.
Well, and I think my response to that would be is if you start on the 11th,
That would
first
push-
semester has 84 days, second semester has 96 days, and I think we're concerned that we're not front-loading enough days prior to testing to maximize the learning of our students.
We have done that
Because-
though
because
before in
Christmas-
the past. We have had, they are not required to be equal in size. The concern is about where the assessment lies, and then it is not unfamiliar to Mesa schools historically to have an 83 first semester, 85 first semester, 87 first semester. But again, you've got to weigh out a variety of different factors, start and stop, which certainly has an impact on families, especially those that are vacationing up until the beginning of the school year. And then the second impact is the academic and learning impact associated with that assessment window and when the assessment is actually placed.
And I think that there's always a possibility, Mr. Peterson, that we locked winter break in and allowed people to make the three choices that I've talked about, but you could always begin to slide winter break. But in this particular case, in the 2021, if you slid it a week, generally kids would still be going to school on Christmas, right?
Just made that whole semester a week shorter.
That's correct.
So we could just pull the whole week out, still keep Christmas break where it is.
And
And we just add an extra week to the second semester.
that is true.
Because, yeah, nobody wants to go to school. That would be highly unpopular.
Yeah. Nobody would pick that one.
It's an election year, we can't do that.
If that's been done before, is what I'm saying. We've had that occur in our system before. We rarely get to a wonderful 90-90 split. There's always a 89-91 or 87-92 or something of that nature. And typically we try to put more days into the second semester because of the number of days that testing takes up, so that there is more time for class instruction. And as you know, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about achievement as measured by a moment in time assessment, and learning, which is the essence of who we are and what we're all about, and that's the content in the course and giving adequate time for the teacher to deliver his or her curricula.
I don't have a strong desire one way or the other, but just wanted to, where this is the first hearing, to at least understand the logic for why we were recommending the one we've got here, which has an earlier August start, but gets out a week before Memorial Day. So maybe some thought then from me, because this will come back again in 2 weeks then, when we have the next board meeting on it, so.
Maybe we're saving money on AC.
By pushing it back.
We'd like to think that, but there are so many things going on our campuses as far as cleaning and refurbishing and summer activities and summer schools and camps and whatnot, that our schools are rarely not cooled, even in the summer months.
Dr. Cowan, would it be appropriate to move into the hearing portion so we just make sure that we've covered that?
I would just ask, you're certainly welcome to entertain another calendar other than these two calendars. So if you wanted to pursue a week later as option 2 for that 2021 school year, you could consider that and then make a decision in 2 weeks. And that calendar can be produced by Dr. Lesser and his team so that you can compare the two calendars for that 1 year, and then you can make an informed decision in the next meeting.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love
Okay.
that second option, to start on the 11th instead of the 4th that year.
Yes.
Absolutely. We will go ahead and develop that calendar, and that doesn't change, your reflection on a third calendar, or really a second one for 2021, doesn't change the feedback that's been provided. It just shifts the days in each semester.
Well, and I think as you look at some of these comments, it actually accommodates some of those comments, because just like Dr. Cowan said, our schools are rarely quiet. So starting on the 4th really means there's a bunch of our students who have to come back in July if they're playing a sport, or if because that happens sooner. Or, and our teachers.
And the teachers
start
would
in
come
July.
back on July 29th.
So
Yeah.
pushing back a week lets everybody have all of July off and still be out by the end of May, by Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that theoretically, if because of the second half of the year, we're taking up a block of time for testing anyway, so wouldn't that theoretically give us that education time back in the classroom after the test? More
It
instruction
would
time?
allow you more time for the teachers who are teaching second semester to deliver their full curricula, because of the amount of time. And again, remember, testing schedules are unique and different from school to school, and some teachers have classes, some don't. Some are impacted by testing, their kids, because it's their content areas, and others aren't.
Okay. And I do want to show how much feedback we got. I mean, we got these today. This is amazing. I'm really impressed by the amount of community feedback, and I'm also, again, impressed with the team's ability to go through these and provide us with the informed decision and the calendars that we've got. Are there any other questions or comments from the board?
There is one in here. I just have to read this one.
I read a couple of it too.
There's a few, but this one is: do away with fall break, spring break. Utilize existing Monday holidays. Start the school year in late July, end the school year in early June. Create a 4-day work week calendar. So,
any of your 29 options.
I thought that was a good one.
And I have gotten a lot of feedback when it comes to mirroring and being closer to mirroring other districts, because we're really concerned about our district and what happened with our children. But like East Valley wide, sometimes people are all over the place. Like
that's a great comment. Pete has some data to show you. A good number of our certificated staff, and I can't give you an exact number, but I would say the majority of our teachers actually do not reside in our district boundaries. They live primarily to the south of us. And so trying to provide accommodations for moms or dads that have dates that are different for breaks than kids is certainly something to consider. Dr. Lesser and Helen and Robert, as you heard earlier, have done an extraordinary job of analysis and evaluation. The design of this survey as it was done, they really need to be commended. And Pete has gone the extra mile to assess where we are with comparisons between us and other systems, at least ones that have posted future calendars.
And I can share that with you, Mrs. Sears.
Sure.
In the 1920 calendar, Gilbert, Higley, Tempe, and Scottsdale all have the same break as our proposed calendar for the fall break. Gilbert, Higley, and Scottsdale have the same 3-day Thanksgiving break as the proposal does. For winter break, Scottsdale, Gilbert, Higley, and Tempe, all relatively the same break, maybe minus a day in there. And then Gilbert, Higley, Tempe, and Scottsdale will all have the same spring break in the 1920 calendar. I don't have ASUs, and people are on different cycles than us, so I don't have all of them, but that gives you a little flavor of what's going on out there. And the results for the 2021, as we have proposed it here, similar districts. A few less have that, and it would be interesting to know if it slides, does that change anything? But but we won't be changing any of our breaks. We'll just be removing days and adding on to the end of the year, basically.
You could still slide, you could slide October break a week down and slide March spring break a week down, so they ended at the end
You're
of
right.
9 week,
You-
you know.
you're
I guess
absolutely
March
right.
wouldn't change because we're starting at the same day in January, so that's still a 9 week grading period. But you could slide October to the next week. Might be nicer.
You're right.
even for
I think
for weather.
I think the breaks, potentially could be shifted a little bit one way or the other.
I think what's important to consider, Board Member Richardson, I agree with the quarters, because we like to have those relatively balanced. But it's also very important to our parents, parents who are staff members, that there is some kind of accommodation for them. It's a very difficult thing when you are off a week and then you've got to find someone to care for your kids the next week because you're going back to school. In some instances, we're not going to be able to avoid that because not every school system is aligned. There's not a state calendar. But when you can do that, especially where we know concentrations of our staff live, it's a benefit to those families impacted.
So at this point, that's the information, and as I ask it, Mr. President and Dr. Cowan, do we need to formally move into item number 13?
Yep. We need, Mr. Smith, if you would call an open hearing, and if you're comfortable with this, you could combine the two hearings together, the 1920 and the 2021 calendar hearings, and invite anyone who's here and is going to fill out a form for Alice Swinehart to step forward and share their thoughts.
Yeah, we can do that. So we'll call for a hearing of actually the combined 13A and B items for the calendar years 1920 and 2021, the school years.
Alice, do we have any comments, ladies and gentlemen?
Any requests to speak? Thumbs up? You guys like it? Audience participation. Awesome.
I might say that one item coming out of our hearing portion would be to put together a second 2021 calendar where we are starting a week later and ending the week before Memorial Day. And we will bring that back as well for consideration at the second hearing.
Okay, and at the second hearing, we'll vote on that. Today, there will be no action from the board.
The only thing I would add to that then is you look at the 2021, be sure and compare then against what other districts are doing as far as those breaks. Try to align those as best you can.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I think that takes care of item 12 and 13. With that, we're going to jump to item 15. That's the call to the public. We've got a short video we'll roll. Oh, there's no speakers.
Just for the record, to make sure the governing board is pulling agenda item 14. That was consideration of the contract for the new superintendent. There's still work to be done on that contract, and there'll be another meeting held this week for the governing board to finalize that contract. And after that period, then a contract approval would be considered by the governing board, which then leads us to 15.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, I noted in my mind that we were taking it out. Didn't think to clarify. With that, there's no request to speak for the call to the public, so we can move to item 16. Jenny?
Still reading comments. I move that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not opposed. Thanks.
Yeah, this is